The Trump administration is denying reports that they sent two U.S. citizens with cancer to Honduras. This is according to the National Immigration Project. These two kids, a 4 and a 7-year-old, were sent on their mother's deportation flight to Honduras without due process or even the child's cancer medication. Gracie Willis, an attorney with the organization, told NBC News that the boy and his 7-year-old sister were detained by ICE on Thursday. They were taken to El Paso, Texas, and immediately, the next day, were flown to Honduras. Just gone. They're gone. The 4-year-old boy, who was actively receiving treatment for a rare form of cancer, was flown to Honduras without medication, according to Willis and the National Immigration Project. Attorneys were preparing a habeas corpus petition when the children were taken out of the U.S. on an ICE charter flight before the petition could even be filed. So understand that they moved super quick. Yeah, and they don't do that. They don't move like that unless they really know we're doing something wrong. We are doing something so evil that we got to hurry up and get it done before we get caught, before we get stopped. That's what this administration is doing. They're doing as much evil as quickly as they can. Not only does it overwhelm us, but it also overwhelms the court. The courts can't fight as fast, and that's one of the problems with this. It's one of the problems with Congress not taking their authority and fighting back. And not only that, but one of the problems with the president being basically immune from anything, any prosecution. And so, yes, you have this administration just shoving cancer kids out the door as quickly as possible before anyone could ever stop him. I mean, it's ridiculous. Now, in a press release by the National Immigration Project, attorney Aaron Hebert called the removal of these children, who are U.S. citizens, by the way, quote, illegal, unconstitutional, and immoral. Quote, the speed, brutality, and clandestine manner in which these children were deported is beyond unconscionable, and every official responsible for it should be held accountable. I mean, they won't be, and that's the sad truth about it all. The sad truth about it all. The Trump administration is breaking laws, norms, disregarding the Constitution. Now, they're wiping their ass with it, okay? That's the reality. And nobody's going to hold them accountable, because everyone that could hold them accountable is either under the direct control of the president now, or you have enablers in Congress that are not only not doing anything, but they're just allowing this to happen. And they're totally fine with it. And that's it. That's the reality. All right? Look, in a just world, this never would have happened in the first place, obviously. But we don't live in that. Okay? We don't live in a just world. And hell, we don't even live in what you would call the real world anymore. Okay? And what do I mean by that? Because, look, back before Donald Trump took power, if you did something like this, you would at least be held accountable. But we live in an insane world now where ICE are the Brownshirts that deport cancer kids. Cancer kids. I mean, it's ridiculous. Now, Willis is also representing a similar case involving the mother of a 2-year-old citizen who was also deported with her child on Friday. U.S. District Judge Terry Doty ordered a hearing on this case, saying that it appeared the government removed a U.S. citizen with no meaningful due process. They don't believe in due process anymore. That's the reality. They've shredded the Constitution, where you were supposed to have due process. Everyone in this country, whether you're legal or not, has due process. Oh, but if you're here legally, you don't have due process. How are you supposed to prove? Prove that. Prove that they're here legally or illegally if you don't have due process. You can't. You can't. Because the whole act of proving something is due process. Look, in both of these cases, the families had fathers residing in the U.S. and were unable to make decisions about their children before they were basically kidnapped and dumped in another country. The National Immigration Project said the women were also placed in incommunicado detention by ICE, making them unreachable by lawyers or family members. Legal teams that were able to reach the mothers after their deportation said the women both expressed being given no choice and that they were told that their children would be coming with them, according to Willis. You know, I kind of feel like this is the administration's answer to the problem of family separation. Remember, during the first Trump administration, there was a lot of backlash to the family separation policy, right? So instead they said, okay, well, why don't we just send the whole family then? Deport them all. We don't believe in birthright citizenship anyway. The Constitution, what name so? We don't really care about that. It's an old piece of paper, right? That's all it is. Except for that whole Second Amendment thing. We love that. But everything else, nah. Oh, okay. So they didn't like that policy. Look, they're citizens. These kids are citizens, but are not being treated like citizens. And of course, that's on purpose. Why is that?
The Republican Party's racist.
I think that's pretty simple. Okay. Now, that said, Secretary of State Marco Rubio denied that. He went on NBC's Meet the Press and said that, well, you know, look, while everyone on U.S. soil is entitled to due process, individuals in the country illegally have no right to be here. And so, you know, we didn't actually deport them, though. We didn't deport those kids. The mothers took their kids with them by choice. Oh, really? He said 3 U.S. citizens, ages 4, 7, and 2, were not deported. Their mothers were illegally in this country were deported. The children went with their mothers. Those children are U.S. citizens. They can come back in the United States, but ultimately, who was deported was their mother. Their mothers who were here illegally. Whoa. He also said it was the moms who made the decision to take their kids. That is something, of course, Willis called an absurdity. Quote, the public has a right to know about what happened with these children, and we want to make sure this never happens again. How do we make sure this never happens again when we have Secretary of State Marco Rubio repeating the party line that the mothers wanted this? It's a lie. It's untrue. But, of course, you know that MAGA, they're going to eat up this propaganda with a spoon. They're going to be like, yeah, it was a mother. They took their kids back. Yeah, that's what it is. No. They didn't get a choice. They didn't get a choice. Look, this just shows how Marco Rubio is such a cuck for Donald Trump. I mean, I cannot believe anyone thought that Marco Rubio had any sort of principles. He doesn't. He's as craven as the rest of them. Kissing Donald Trump's ass for a crumb of power. It's absolutely disgusting. But what's more disgusting is deporting U.S. citizens, little children, with cancer without their medications. They're citizens. Citizens. Now, I got to ask you, is this what making America great again looks like? Because if it is, then no one who has a shred of morality at all should be okay with this. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.